Good evening, students. Today, in the subject of environmental sciences, we are going to discuss an important topic of fifth unit that is called National Policy on Environment and Ecology. This is a diverse topic which is having the importance of understanding what is this policy draft is all about and how does this draft have got contribution towards the environmental conservation throughout the country. Students, though this is a subject which is the subject related to the environmental sciences of different classes, that is UG and PG, but of course this subject topic will help the other students also to take a help of from this particular session to talk about their own subject requirements. So without any delay, let us proceed. Whenever we start talking about the national policy on environment, we need to understand why this type of policy was required. As a student, we must understand that environment is such an important phenomena and important discipline to be talked about. Environment is the important topic of international and national reputation. Environment is broadly to be talked about as common future for all of us. And therefore, the country and countries are developing their national policies draft in this context of conservation of environment as one of the most important criteria for the work. Therefore, in India also, the such first kind of draft of policy was comes in the year 2006, and this was called as National Environment Policy 2006. It was an outcome of extensive consultation with experts in different disciplines, central ministries, members of parliament, state governments, industries association, academics and research institutions of the society. They have got a contribution from the civil society along with the NGOs and public itself. Students, this particular draft of such policy was required in the country because in recent past we have witnessed a huge damage to the environmental system as a whole, and therefore the public draft by the Ministry of Environment, and they have produced a draft by the help of the different bodies at their different capacities with association to the industries and academics in general. So this was the outcome of the national policy. But first of all, we need to understand what is the great need of this type of policy. See, India is a great country having diversified climate and the seasons throughout the year. So to cover or cater the environmental requirement or environmental safety, there should be a law or required policy was there. And from a long period of time, it was noticed that in terms of the Conservation Act, after the existence of numerous biospheres and reserves areas or the zones which are to be called as the protected zones for different wildlife animals, habitats and so on, it was an immense need being felt by the society that such draft policy needs to be there. And therefore, with the help of the parliament, with the help of the different central and the state governments, along with the different industrial requirement and academic prospect, it was an outcome in the year of 2006. Since then, the whole civil society in India has been transformed under this particular policy. And this policy draft have helped the achieving the goal of sustainability and achieving the momentum of environmental safety. Environment is an important issue nowadays because we people are sharing the common future. We are sharing the common future, or the common resources. Therefore, it is what our responsibility towards society to give it back by the name of the environmental conservation and environmental procurement. Therefore, this policy comes into the existence, and this policy was equally adopted by the different states and union territories under the different provisions. There are different tribunals, there are different organizations, and there are different type of authorities which are taking care of the environment. Once the industry or the people of the industry, they are implementing their industrial policies, they have to ensure that national policy on environment or guideline provided by the national policy of environment needs to be followed. Therefore, we have witnessed a very good turnaround in terms of achievement of certain environmental goals in the recent past. And that is what the greatest success of this particular policy. So without any delay, let us talk about the objectivity of the national policy. What all are the objectives?